actually in time. It's embarrassing to be late for your own conference, but I'll believe you. Can I plug my USB stick somewhere? And that's not meant to be what you thought it is. Well, she's plugging my USB stick. Hello, welcome to you guys. Glad to see you here. So many of you. More than last time for sure. My name is Vladimir, co-founder of Creative Mobile. And yeah, for those of you who don't know, we are a gaming company based in Estonia, the largest gaming company based in Estonia, even though that's not saying much, but it's an achievement anyway. We're around 100 people. We'll be celebrating 6 years this summer, so you can say we've been around quite mature by the standards of the gaming industry, which is known to be really, really dynamic. And we organized this conference for the fourth year running. First two iterations were behind closed doors. This is the second iteration of GameDevDays, which has been open to public. And yeah, hello and welcome. Thank you all for coming. I will talk about the conference itself in some more detail later. But now let me kick off this thing by talking about the gaming industry as a whole. The gaming industry as a business. And hopefully my slides will be online eventually. Will they be online? Anyone? Next slide. We can do it the old-fashioned way. Anyway, I want to start by talking about games as a business, because I know about you guys. I always get this question whenever I talk to anyone who is not from gaming about what I do for a living. I hope it helps. I get the same question. Is gaming real? Is it like a normal career for a person to have? Is it a real business? Is there money to be made? And obviously I'm biased, but it's still not working. Anyway. But the best way to answer this question, in my opinion, is by looking at the market size, the revenue of the industry compared to some other things that we know are really, really big and really influential, such as music and movies. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. Yeah. Oh, it's working. Cool. So let's look at music first. Recorded music industry scored 15 billion USD last year worldwide in sales, which is a substantial amount of money, right? I'm pretty sure most of you guys would take 15 billion or like to be part of 15 billion industry. And to be fair, music industry has been going through a difficult period with the transition to digital and streaming not quite delivering the revenues that were lost with physical sales. But anyway, 15 billion, quite substantial. Movies did even better. Last year, movies set a new all-time best for worldwide box office. 38 billion. Star Wars The Force Awakens was the #1 top grossing title. Not title. Movie. Alone bringing home the bacon in the form of almost $1 billion USD in its launch year. So last year was really, really good for movies. Gaming though, 92 billion. 2.5 times more than worldwide movie box office. And League of Legends alone brought in 1.6 billion. Gaming is big. No, it's not big. It's mind-blowingly massive. But let's look inside gaming and see where does that money come from, how it's broken down between different platforms to begin with. There's another shock in here for friends and family who still think that gamers or game consumers and people who have consoles and desktop PCs, actually money is distributed almost evenly between PC market, console market, and mobile tablet market. Mobile is narrowly the leading segment of the industry with around 31 billion USD in worldwide revenue, according to the best estimations we can find. And of course, all those numbers are estimations, but they paint the overall picture. But that's not enough. I want to look deeper, I want to go deeper, I want to see what games are actually making money right now. And I hope you love some statistics in the morning as much as I do, because there's gonna be lots of numbers in the next two slides. Let's look at console games. Last year, top grossing games. Formatting is off, but don't let this distract you. Call of Duty, as almost always, not by far, convincingly the best-selling title. Number 1 entry is the most recent installment of the game, number 5 is the previous one. 2 takeaways from this top 10, and this is worldwide top 10 sales, video game sales. You only see one new name there. Destiny's comparatively new IP. Not like fresh new, but compared to FIFA, it's really young. All the other games, based on something that has been built year after year, which indicates that the market is kind of difficult to get into for new games. And I bet you guys know that. It's not like you can just sit with a bunch of your friends and build an Xbox One game and publish it on Xbox One and make $1 million a day. So we can clearly see that most of these names are really familiar. We know guys playing FIFA, we know guys who play Call of Duty, we all know GTA 5, and not necessarily because of the lawsuits. Anyway, the industry is not very dynamic in terms of newcomers and new IP. Let's look at the next one. The next segment, PC MMO. One thing you can notice immediately is that the numbers are getting bigger. Top 10, number 10 entry in the console world generated 70 million, in the PC world 200 million. Much more money. Number 1 entry, 1.6 billion. That's a lot of money. That is a huge amount of money. Now another interesting thing you can notice here is half of these games in the top 10 are Asian. And this, again, this is worldwide revenues. Not revenues in Asia, not revenues in Estonia, obviously. These are worldwide totals. Asian publishers are making a big splash. Big impact and lots of money. Now let's look at the final segment, final big segment of the overall gaming pie, mobile tablet. Again, numbers are huge. The number 10, the entry to number 10, is even higher. It used to be 70 million for console to become number 10 top grossing game. It was 200 million for PC MMO. It's almost 300 million for mobile. Mobile is big, really big, and it's growing faster than any other segment. Now, because I love numbers in the morning, I decided to compile all those games into one ranking. And we can see that if we take all the top grossing games from all platforms and put them in one chart, there's not a single console game in the top 10. 4 out of 5 at the top are desktop games, the rest are mobile games. This is where billions and billions have been made right now. This begs the question of why are we even here then? If there's so much money in the market, we should just go and make some games and take a slice of that pie, right? Gaming is incredibly influential. Now next time your mom asks you, why are you even doing this? You can tell her, but League of Legends makes 1.6 billion. Gaming is pretty big. But there's a problem with it. A fundamental problem. A big issue. It's really competitive and it's really hard. It's really hard to build a game. It's even harder to build a game in business. It's a nightmare. And the reason it's like that is economics, basically. Let's say you and your buddies want to build a small game. There's 4 of you, that's your team. And excuse me for stereotyping, but that's most likely how you guys look when you decide to make a game. Well, you're smart. You watch some videos on YouTube, you attended some sessions, you know that you ain't gonna make a game in 3 months. It's gonna take 8 months. And 8 months sounds like a lot of time. Like, we can build the next, I don't know, Dota 3, whatever, Half-Life 3, 4, 8 months is all the time. But if you do the math and say, okay, let's do the budget estimation for this game. You guys are reasonably qualified developers and artists. You value yourself at, say, 1,200 euros per month, multiplied by 8 months, that's 38,000, that's the budget per game. Now that's the price of a nice new car, but it's still kind of reasonable. You can live with that. Well, I hope most of you can live with that risk. But when it actually starts working, comes the big problem. Things don't go as planned, and instead of needing 4 people, you're gonna need 6 people. In some cases, you might want to pay taxes as well. In some cases, you need to pay rent. Even if you decide not to pay taxes and not to pay rent, you still need some food and snacks, and obviously psychology now, for those of you who get the joke. And you can see I'm trying to keep things under budget, like really, really simple. But even bigger problem is, you won't get a game in 8 months. In the best case scenario, 12 months later you have something playable. Unless you've done like 20 commercial games before that, but then the question is why you're here listening to me? Because I haven't done 20 games. But anyway, if we do the math again, that's 180,000 euros, which is a price of a very, very, very nice car, but also significantly more than the average game is making. And I quote iOS game revenue because in the minds of most people, it seems that iOS is like the easy way to make money these days. Most people still believe that. Well, the average gamers make like 5,000, and that's the average. This is taking into account guys like Supercell, who made 2.3 billion last year of 3 titles. If you look at median game revenue on iOS right now, it's around 500 euros per title. Now, you don't have to be, you don't need technical education and mathematical capabilities of extremely high caliber to figure out that there's a significant gap between 180,000 that you're going to spend and 5,000 you're going to make. Some people would say, I would just go free to play. I just make my game free and I'll sell some in-app purchases, and that's how I'm going to make money, because that's how everyone else is making money. That's how Supercell is making money, that's how Machine Zone is making billions. Because it's super easy. I distribute my game to tens of millions of people, and then I sell some hats for $1.99, and they buy those hats, and I make lots of money. But then there's a problem. Free-to-play is like the most competitive segment in the whole gaming industry right now. And if you want to get the players, you have to spend, and you have to spend way, way more than you can extract from those players. Even if you push them really hard, even if you're really good at free-to-play design, you're probably not quite as good as people working for top publishers right now. Sorry to break it to you, but that's the reality. People working at King, people working at Supercell are really, really good at what they do, and they achieve really high revenue per user, and as a result, the market prices for user acquisition go high, and everyone else is left in the dust. So, the takeaway, well, life sucks. Life's hard. Life's a big challenge, it's a lot of pain. If you're an indie developer, it's even worse. No, seriously, what are you gonna do? The console market is really hard to the PC market is even harder to enter, if you consider the amount it takes to build a game which will be spotted by the audience. Mobile market is easier to enter, but it's super crowded, super competitive, it's oversaturated. You cannot promote your games, really. I mean, if you want to achieve some kind of significant scale, you figure out really quickly that distribution channels are really congested. There's so many games who want to get in the spotlight. It's really hard to stand out. If you want to advertise your game, you'll find out that the same applies to media. Media buying is difficult, because all the advertisement spend is basically moving to mobile, if you're doing a mobile game. And you have to compete against the very top guys. So, to make it even worse for you, market is not growing as it used to grow in 2012, 2010. There's no explosion anymore. It's not like we're adding 1 million new devices in North America per, I don't know, week, day. No, it's not like that. In most developed markets, the growth has slowed down quite significantly. And now, when you look at the numbers that claim that this year the overall user base for smartphones has grown by X%, most of those guys are coming from places like Indonesia, Malaysia, India, Brazil. And what are you going to do with those guys? Do you really know how to sell stuff to the Brazilians? I challenge you to try that. So, bottom line, gaming is hard. If you want to make money, it's really, really hard. It's a battlefield. A lot of people fighting for the consumer, and you are really outnumbered and outgunned. So what are you going to do? This paints a depressing picture, I know. And at this point, it's not reasonable to expect you guys to just stand up and leave the room, because then there's nothing to fight for. But this is not true. There is a way to make things work. And that is unity and collaboration. It's somewhat counterintuitive. When you want to develop a game, you would normally assemble a bunch of your colleagues or friends, and you lock yourself in the room and you work until it gets done. And then most of the time you get burnt. What you actually need to do is go outside and talk to people. Talk to smart people. Find the smartest people you can get your hands on. Befriend them. Ask the hard questions. Drink beer with them. Drink more beer with them. If they don't drink beer, find something else you can do with them. Meet people. Talk to people. Collaborate with people. And that's the very reason why we do this. We as a company are doing okay. We have 350 million downloads across our portfolio. We're doing just fine. But even us, the best thing we can do, go up and talk to people. Because the market is so hard. 5 guys most likely can't crack it. 50 guys can crack it. You need to have the collective intelligence of some of the brightest people to really crack it. And that's why we do this conference. And that's why we bring hundreds of the best people we know, people with actual hands-on knowledge, into this building. So I encourage you guys to seize the moment, to use this opportunity to get to know every person around you, every person you meet today. See if they can help you. See if you can help them. This image has been circulating in my social networks this week. It's a banner ordered by Remedy. If you don't know Remedy, they're a Finnish game development studio who produce some of the best video games I have played. They're responsible for Max Payne, among other things. Mom always said that playing games won't get you a job. From Esport with Love since 1995. Now the reason I decided to include this image in my presentation today is to remind you that gaming has been around for a while, is going to be around for a while. People are playful, and the industry has been steadily growing, and it will continue growing. It's an awesome place to be in. So please, seize the moment. Use those 2 days to the best of your capabilities. Make it count. Thank you.
If anyone has any questions, now's a good time for it.
Vladimir, you say that you want to keep playing. Which games do you play?
FIFA. No, I have to play mobile games as well. I say I have to because sometimes playing mobile free-to-play games can be rage-inducing. And I've been telling everyone how I rage quit Clash Royale just 2 weeks ago because I was basically humiliated by 14-year-old Chinese guys, and then I just said, I am not playing in this game anymore. I just installed it. But there's 2 ways to play if you're a game developer. You can play for fun, and that's usually something really, really stupid. Or you can play for professional growth, and that's what we also have to do. And this means we have to monitor all the charts and see what kind of games are picking up steam and what's racing high up there and what's making money. So that's like the 2 types of gaming we have to endure. But you know, the most hours I have right now is in Microsoft Flight Simulator, and it's not even a game. It is a game, but it's really bad as a game. It's really hard.
Anyone else?